And there's Nicole wolfing down some food.
Oh, look.
With her
A
hair
shallot.
in her face.
And a lime,
And here
in
he
case we
is,
were having gin and
looking
tonic or
very
something.
trim in
Yeah.
little sport
Can't find
shirts
my
on.
lip gloss.
But then I had these other ones which I didn't know if he remembered.
Damn it, I know I brought it.
At his father's apartment before his,
You're not
before
recording
his
this, are
father
you?
got
Yes.
married.
Oh my
I
God.
didn't know.
Damn it. Damn it. It can't see me though, can it?
Not yet.
Good.
Sit up a little higher.
It can hear me.
1965. Well, there's Lisa.
No.
Sitting there with her hair up. But then there was another one. 1965, it's written there.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
great.
But it was August. You were there in August, so there, that.
Oh, cool.
Aren't you cute?
Isn't that beautiful?
Show the camera.
That
Aren't
is
you,
such a
aren't you
beautiful
cute?
drawing.
Look at
And
this.
look, you signed it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you
We're
did.
too clever.
You
No, I
would have
didn't
done a
write
much
that.
better job.
Yeah, that's right.
But
That
I
is such a
liked his
beautiful
hair, and
picture.
it's so sweet with the little,
Yeah.
that nice little narrow, you know, little
Yeah.
young boy body.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
right. I
Oh,
like
but
the-
if you give it to him, then he'll have to make a copy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I have a copy.
You have a
I
copy?
made a copy.
How did you get
yeah.
a copy?
I made a print, just, and that's Lisa sitting.
There she
That's
is.
Lisa sitting. Yeah, aren't you cute there with your,
Yeah.
your little shirt? Nicole, it was her birthday weekend. She was still in a birthday dress, but you weren't at her birthday
Oh,
party.
that, up on the roof.
No,
that
that's a
wasn't the
different
one on
time.
the
No,
roof?
that's different. You were 7 or 8 then.
Oh yeah, look at him.
There
You're
it is.
demonstrating your catering aptitude. Even.
Right there.
The other one's better. And you're,
That's a
look
good
at you whipping along there. And she And I didn't have
Whipping
anything in the room,
along.
so I had painted like a fake mural on the wall of that dining room. It
Do you
was
remember
I
that?
remember that,
mural?
yeah.
Wasn't that great? It was like a dining, it was like a living room
Yeah.
in the dining room.
So this is what I'll
With
do.
the Christmas tree and the
I'll tear
fireplace and
that
the.
out and
It was
you'll have
wonderful.
that as a trophy.
Excellent. We'll frame it.
Oh, good.
I think
Here we
actually
are.
Lisa, I took her
I
to
am
the park
yelling.
and I was putting her in the.
Look at that
merry-go-round.
little face of
I
mine.
got carried
It was
away.
so cute. Look at
Yeah,
this.
I
We
got
were such
yeah, that is
troublemakers.
Lisa.
Oh, yeah.
On the horse that get carried away with her.
Oh, cool.
But these were the
About
ones
to
at my
take a
brother's
bite.
apartment when you were there one time at Christmas.
All right.
So
And I didn't know if you ever had
Look at
those.
Lisa,
Yeah,
she's
that was-
climbing
That's
on
an
the
awkward
apartment
age
that
of
you had.
Look at her
Lisa.
little tiny hand.
And although that might have been my
That's
brother's
tiny
camera, so
one.
you might have these pictures.
I have seen it.
Yeah, you've seen them. Well, then probably my brother made the copies and then my mother sent them to me. And she and
There's
Daddy were
Frank and
up
Lydia.
there,
They what?
yeah.
Looks at
Yes.
And look at you, look at,
yeah,
look at
yeah.
you. Look
Oh,
at that avid
look at
competitive.
them. Oh, God, I
It
love
looks
that
like-
picture.
It looks like Jim took the picture, because there his mom.
Look at
Those aren't
Lisa
my
already with
cigarettes.
the
I know
long
it.
legs.
But look at you.
So
You're ready
pretty.
to win.
Look at them. Aren't
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
great?
And looks like Grandma
That is
made
so
some clever,
cute.
comment on the cards, and I thought it was funny. So-
Isn't it
Look
cute?
at it. I don't know. But he said he's seen those because
This was
Jimmy.
when he had the apartment in
Oh,
the basement in
that's
New Jersey.
great.
And
No.
this one?
So
This is Chicago.
cute. Now, was that in the
It's all the
apartment?
same
Oh,
week.
is it? Okay.
It really is. It's
This was
Chicago
at their-
because
at their
then they trimmed the
apartment.
tree. My mother.
Oh,
Was this
okay.
in New Jersey?
And he thinks of it. It isn't.
No,
No?
I don't think that is.
It's Chicago.
Oh, it was in
That couldn't
Chicago?
be different.
Oh,
It couldn't be different
Well,
because
wait,
it's the
this
same
was in-
age.
how old was this?
I don't know the year. Let's see what it says here.
Well,
Just
you
keep
looked like
this.
you were, what,
Yeah,
12?
that meant if Jimmy sent them. Now here, you're playing dirty. That's what somebody's saying on that
Oh.
one. You're playing dirty. See, that's Grandma and Grandpa.
Oh,
somebody.
yes, that's a great
But it has to be
picture.
the same sequence.
So let's see this one.
Were you like 12 or 10?
I don't know what he
You
was.
look like 12 here, but there you look younger, and yet it's the same period.
He thinks this is New Jersey, but they wouldn't have sent me pictures from a different time. Keep this.
Keep this. Let me
But
see.
but you seem, but
With
see,
the
that
dog.
apartment of his didn't have too much personality, and there isn't anything around.
No.
Nothing on the walls.
So your house would have had more. Oh, that was her birthday party. I
Yeah,
just got
this is
mixed
your
in.
birthday party, Nicole.
Yeah, that just got mixed in.
Oh,
with
yes,
it.
one of
But
the
you
old
weren't
birthday
there
parties
then.
with Fluffy
That
and
was the-
Muffy on either
Yeah,
side
but that
of
was
me.
the same, that was the
There
same
they
week.
are,
I wasn't
Abby. You can
giving
see
that
Fluffy
to
and
you.
Muffy.
And this is the one,
There's
look,
Fluffy.
look how
And there's
grown up you
Muffy.
look here.
Those are my friends.
Oh, yeah.
See, so that's the same
I
shirt.
know, I must have liked what I was looking at.
Yeah, you're right.
That's my
Chicago-
brother's. He
that's
had those
Chicago.
shells.
That's great.
And see, look at him.
He looks so
holding a
grown
drink.
up.
Look at him and his legs.
Look at him, isn't he adorable?
Isn't he cute?
Look at
Now,
him.
you have these.
Isn't
You
that
can have them, but you
great?
say,
I
well,
have these.
yeah, he has some of these.
Babe.
But he is
You
cute.
babe, yeah, look at her, my God, Natalie Wood.
Oh, gosh. Well, this must have been, I was doing sketches for,
God, oh, I was looking at the
sketches for,
cake and the
some-
ketchup. Heinz
for
ketchup.
some clothing line, you know.
Have a little ketchup.
And I had to make the
There's
drawings
ads for
afterwards.
ketchup.
But this is the one.
On
There's
Oh, look
the,
at that.
on Garrison
oh,
Keillor.
that was somebody
They're
else
holding
than
some
me.
cute.
Ha, ha, ha.
I know, I
No.
don't know why. Oh,
Don't tell me
look,
what, no,
Cyril.
this is you.
Oh, yes, with my glasses.
But no, this is,
Oh.
woo, I don't know how, this just got in there. And that was Nicole in her long-legged,
Oh, yeah, who was that?
that's you, but
Oh,
it never
not
really
really.
looked like you. It's
Not
sort of-
really.
No, but it's sort
I
of,
wish.
it's sort of a too idealized, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't, yeah.
It's
that-
pretty, but it doesn't look
but
like me.
it's like that one that somebody did of Abby that I think
Yeah.
doesn't look like that. But this is you dancing,
You always like doing drawings of you
teenagers. I love
dancing.
that, I love that, look at that. And she had these long legs and yet she got, and look at that, sitting, how old were you then?
13th of
13th
February.
of February, 1966.
So I was 14.
Yeah, 14. That's that leggy,
That leggy.
skinny kind of, yeah. But
Leggy,
anyway.
skinny.
But this is a mixture, you see, this is a real funny, and you happen to be in it. And I thought, I wonder if Chris
That is
would
very
like
cool.
that drawing of him. That's just some people.
I know, you gotta see.
And then that's Lisa. Lisa I did in black. And then somehow I was working with a sepia pen or something, and he got the
Yeah.
sepia.
Did Abby see that? Have you seen it? Oh, well, let Abby see it. It's so good.
But
Did
it's a
you
cute
give the
drawing.
camera see?
It's a cute
Camera.
drawing of a boy. Oh, we're right, we're on camera.
And you wrote your name on it.
I know it.
He was a genius.
That's
He
right.
could write his name.
I did that left-handed.
Are you left-handed?
Excuses.
Yes, I do. My brother's was left-handed.
And you are
And he
left-handed.
is. I forgot that.
Oh, that's great. Isn't that beautiful?
Well, it's sweet, it's not beautiful, but it's
No,
sort
it's
of
a
a
beautiful
sensitive.
drawing. It's a very
But it looks
sensitive
like him
drawing.
too, it doesn't look like anybody
It
else.
had little lines, but it still looks so.
Well, he was just flunked on the floor
Captures
there.
so much,
I wonder if you were looking at TV,
probably.
probably, because we had it in the living room there, and I
Yeah.
probably said, stay there, Chris.
This is such a great boy pose.
Yeah, I like his little neckline,
yeah,
and
and
the
the
little
line of
skinny,
his-
long.
That little
body.
bit of shoulder blade right there that you
Yeah,
got.
I
and
mean,
the
it's
profile
a nice
is
little
so,
drawing, I mean, as
so
far as
nice.
a moment captured, it didn't take long to do.
1965.
Yeah.
So you were, when was your birthday?
September 29th.
54, right, okay, so you were 11.
Ah, I thought he was only about 9.
11.
Well,
Oh,
pre-adolescent.
pre-adolescence. After that, it's all over.
The testosterone hadn't kicked in
Not
yet.
yet.
And then it's over. Remember the carousel?
Well, yeah, I think this is
In
Lisa,
Central
because see, I
Park?
wrote that,
Oh,
Lisa.
yes. I
I
love
took her
that
to ride in the carousel.
That's Lisa,
Oh.
with her little sneakers on. Oh, right.
Oh, that looks
Camera.
like her.
Lisa?
Oh,
This
stop
is
it.
you.
This is you.
This is you, Lisa. You want it, Lisa? You want it? You want I should send it to you? She looks so demure.
She does. Uh-oh.
Way to
Oh,
go.
no, those we just.
What are all these?
Those were extras of him.
Well, I
you
haven't
already
seen
saw.
them. Well,
Yes,
I
you-
didn't,
yes, you
no,
did.
you were just looking at them, but I didn't see them and Abby didn't see them.
Well, I want to see
Some
the
of them we
ones that
saw.
he brought that
I
we
do
haven't
too.
seen.
All right, but I just wanted to
These
finish
I've
looking
had
through.
around.
There she is with her little short hair.
You know,
That must have been Chris.
No,
Oh,
it's some
somebody
little
else.
boy. in
No,
the- No, that was a little boy.
What
in
was
the-
this? I don't want to know.
These are some people. You know.
Betty and George.
Yeah,
Jetty and Borge.
Betty and George.
Yeah, that's right.
She committed suicide. Horrible thought.
I
And
know.
there she is.
Did you know? That's interesting here.
Yeah. There she is there.
Yep. Nice, that's nice. Now she's
I
dead.
wasn't good at animals.
Misty.
Well, that cat was weird.
She was weird. Oh, here we, oh, I love that.
Oh, she should have.
When you used to do these little figures.
You want it, Lisa?
It was like, it was like Eloise.
Well,
These are- They're like Eloise.
Well,
drawings.
actually, I used to do the whole group of them for like Chatham blankets. There was a line called Chatham blankets, and they liked them, and so I would make a sort of Cupies doing these things. But then I
They're
guess
so
sometimes
cute.
I would just draw them, make them up, like a little body
I know,
running along.
racing along
Yeah,
with a
naked.
hat.
That is kind of cute. With a hat.
It was so cute.
Well, anyway.
What's that
so-
one?
Nothing.
Sort of like the Coppertone girl.
Yeah, right.
And that's some podge
Looks
that
like
I must
something I did.
No,
Oh.
some podge.
Some little fat pod.
And here you are dancing. And then
Right, let's see.
and that's where I used to work in the bedroom.
There it is, and there's the bathroom where yes,
Right, we had a pink room.
had the big, oh look, with the big bathtub. And I used to talk on the phone all the time, and my father would say,
So this is
I would
real.
be in the tub and talking to my friends on the phone, and
I
my
didn't
father
know
would
that.
say to me through the door, Nicole, you must not talk on the phone, you will get electrocuted. Electrocuted, that's how he said it.
So
Electrocuted.
this is all.
Electrocuted. And I didn't even know what he was talking about. It was like, what? No.
But you didn't have a cell phone,
No.
so you
So
must
he
have
thought if
dragged
I
the line
dropped
in
the,
there.
of course.
Well, people could.
I would
get-
drag the telephone in.
You
and-
couldn't get,
Not much voltage through it.
really? Oh, it's radios.
Yeah.
Radios would be
People
bad.
drop a
That would be
radio
bad.
in it,
That'd be
that,
bad.
or a,
Right.
or a hair dryer.
Televisions,
Yeah, yeah.
hair dryers,
That's just what
right.
I do.
Toasters, yeah,
Yeah, in the bathroom,
Yeah.
and toaster.
In the tub, not a
English
good
muffins
place.
are done. So am I.
I'm not.
So am I.
Well, let's look at
Let's
these.
look at
These
you.
are good.
This is just a mixture here.
This is, of course, Leila and I, in
Yes.
front of the gorge.
Oh,
Ooh.
wow. Now where is this gorge?
This is up
In North Carolina?
No, this is down in Australia.
Oh,
you went
And
wow.
we went to Cairns and then up a train ride
Oh,
up to
Such a cute picture of you.
Coranda. And
Coranda.
then
Darling.
really
Yes.
pretty, and then took a sky train
Oh.
thing
Sky
down.
rail.
Yeah.
How
Oh,
long ago was
neat.
that?
That was this last July.
This summer.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, we
What a
spent 2
honeymoon.
weeks, it was really great.
Oh,
Oh,
that's fantastic.
So you went to,
You look Australian without your mustache. You
Well-
look like you could be Australian.
Right, I shaved it for the
He wanted
trip.
to
For
go
the
sign
trip.
up for
Why?
citizenship.
I did, I
Did
wanted
you?
to sign
'Cause
up
you
for
loved it
dual
that much?
citizenship. It's very cool down
Yeah.
there.
Abby's
Very
gonna go
nice.
to New Zealand.
really?
Yeah, it's like the United States.
You mean they don't like mustaches?
Only-
Why did you shave it off?
Well, I do that periodically.
Oh,
Shave
but
it
I
off,
mean,
grow
when
it
you
back.
said you did it because of something dual citizenship, what was?
Oh, it had nothing to do with the mustache.
Oh, okay.
Who was
It
talking
was just a
about?
segue.
Oh, that is, okay.
Yeah.
Segue.
Anyway, okay.
Ooh.
There's the
There's
car
Jimmy in his new convertible.
in Stockbridge,
Oh,
Is it?
look
Yes.
at that car.
the Tyringham Valley,
Oh my
Valley
God.
and Stockbridge.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that was it.
Look at that. Can I see it?
Sure, it's quite a
That's when-
roadster, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that is fabulous.
Well, he bought a what's a
Oh my
Mitsubishi,
God, what a
didn't he?
great
He bought a
photo.
Plymouth Valiant,
Oh,
remember that?
but
A red convertible.
no,
with
but
a
later.
A Datsun 280.
A
It's
Datsun,
That car,
and
God,
that he
I
called it
want
a
it.
Z car.
No.
the Z car.
I think
It's
she
a
got rid of
Datsun.
that
Oh,
somewhere
God.
along the way. It was a little
They
sporty.
got in an accident with that.
Oh, I didn't
totaled
know
it out.
that.
It,
Ooh, 'cause
it
he
was
was
a
very,
silver Datsun
yeah, his
280ZX,
Z car, he felt,
and
Oh,
the
the
license
280Z.
plate said
I
Tite.
remember
here he comes.
There he is.
Oh, Shadow, you were so late to come down to get
But
dinner.
there were strangers here.
I know.
He knew that.
But he's
He was looking at
desperate
that
now.
Thinking
tripod.
twice about coming down.
He's
but
desperate for
What is
food.
this?
Good
Desperate for
boy.
food.
He
hasn't been
He
missing
may
much,
want to use
but-
his pan too, for all we know. He'll probably treat us all to a great, wonderful treat. Cats always do that
Oh, yeah,
when
they
people
love
are
Here's
around.
Valerie flipping us off. Doesn't it sort of look like that?
Yes, it does.
But in fact, she's holding a pair of pears.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was our.
Look
our
at you.
Oh, wasn't I cute?
Oh my
Isn't that
I look
God.
like Lisa.
You do look like Lisa there.
Well, I
That
mean,
is really strange. You
some
look
pictures,
just like Lisa
pictures
there.
of Lisa I've seen to remind
That
me
looks more
of
like
when-
Lisa than you.
More like Lisa than Lisa.
Than Lisa, right. What's happened here?
I was in a bathrobe.
Oh, that explains it.
And you see, I never worried about having to straighten my hair. It just stayed that
She looks
way.
amazing.
That's the right look, the
Yeah.
straight hair. Everybody buys these expensive hair straighteners,
Oh
you
my,
know.
I cannot believe that
That's
is
Thompson
you.
Ridge.
Yep,
and that's at the gate. Maybe that's when they arrived.
I think so.
She
Oh
brought me
my
pears,
God.
and I was in a robe because I was
Because
in
you weren't
some.
even dressed yet.
I was in a pair of shorts and
A pair of shorts with a pair.
No, but not much
Oh.
on top, and I couldn't
Not
go
much
out.
on
And
top.
I quickly grabbed this robe, and that's why she was
It's
probably
true. There wasn't
horrified.
much on top.
She
No.
probably thought I was upstairs asleep.
Yeah.
And
She's
she said,
naked in there.
she said, I might have been under that robe.
Did you wash? No.
But that is, Jim was down, fortunately.
Down. Where was he?
You. He was there.
Oh, Jim.
He was
Jimmy.
down
I
for
thought
you.
you meant he was down for the count.
No, he was down to greet you at the door, I'm sure.
Yes.
But this is the gate.
That's
And that's
right,
when
that's
they
the gate.
stood outside the gate. They wouldn't penetrate into the
They just
farm
stood
yard.
there, and you said, "Well, where are they?" I said, "They're standing
By the
here
gate."
by the gate." Oh, that's right. And at first, you couldn't even believe that they were there.
And I'm
for the
shouting
longest
out the window,
time.
where are they?
And the impression I
They're
had
just-
was that you were like all over the house, like racing.
Racing.
I was.
It was. I don't know what to do. How can I be here all
He
night?
was voicing
You don't have
over
to be
here.
kidding.
Over there.
I was probably picking up something, you know,
Running along.
looking for my robe, probably. Because I was caught upstairs. No,
Oh my
I
God,
was
no.
cooking, it was hot, and I was upstairs in this little sewing room, a tiny little room.
Abby wants to see.
I am
Now,
so
don't turn
cute.
yet.
No,
you
she
missed
wants
one.
to see. Oh. Oh my God, look at my hair.
Oh.
We were so cute.
Oh, you were so
Really cute.
cool, both of
Look
you.
at him.
Yeah,
I
we-
just thought, this is
He
my
was so
cousin.
gorgeous. Oh, he was
Gee,
so
that's a
gorgeous.
shame.
Yeah, you were so cool.
That's right.
And this
If
great
we
Now
hair.
I know what
cousins.
incest means.
Yeah,
No.
That's right.
if we weren't cousins, look out. Yeah. If we weren't
Oh,
cousins, look
there.
out.
Right.
Oh, no, and she'd show pictures. Look at that long
Look at that hair. Abby,
weren't
you
in
won't
boarding
believe
school
my
yet.
hair.
Well,
Yes,
it showed.
Yes, I
yeah,
was.
yeah.
And he was
Oh, you
about
can't see.
16.
You
There.
can't?
Right, and I was like
You
18.
couldn't. There.
Where did we
Now
take
you
this
can see
picture?
you.
In somewhere.
But I
There.
look like I'm sort of like,
We don't wanna
like
miss
You
it.
look
We
like
were
a
missing
grown
out
up.
on you a little bit.
That's okay.
No, it's
Very
not.
good.
Oh, he's
No,
so
okay.
cool.
It's very cool. But the hair.
And then look at me, it looks like I'm
You're so
Doesn't it?
cool.
I'm giving her the finger.
Yeah. Oh,
Already.
now you're here.
You went. No.
Get lost.
Thanks for the pears.
These are her pears.
Yeah.
Yeah, she brought me pears. She said, I hope you love pears as much as I do. And actually, I don't like pears, so I know these aren't my pears.
Sort of typical of your relationship with her. Right?
That's right.
Yeah,
Not really
exactly.
saying
You're
the
like-
truth.
Oh, I
Yes.
said, oh, how wonderful. You know, at least.
Thanks for the pears.
Yeah,
You're right.
but she
Okay.
did bring her own lentils. She
Oh.
would not make that a dish they
She
made.
would not buy
the
them
pasta
here.
fazool or whatever she made with
Yeah.
lentils. Remember that?
Ah.
Right.
She brought her own Italian lentils, not trusting what I might have in New York
Well,
State.
in fact, she didn't. Is that all she brought? I thought she brought even more things.
Do you
The
remember
pears.
that
Yeah.
it was really hot?
That's what he looked like.
Oh yeah.
Really,
And
that's
she
why I was
drove-
upstairs without much
She
on.
drove
Without
us
the windows
somewhere,
open?
windows up, and
Look at that.
got ice cream for us. And you and I were in the back
That's
seat.
why you look
Yes.
so thrown together.
Yeah.
And we're riding back with her, and she had a driving technique where she
Oh,
had
she
her
would
right
put her
foot
foot on the gas,
and
and
her
then
left
she
foot
put
on
the
the
other
brake.
foot on the
terrible.
brake.
And
Yes.
she's like,
And it'd be like,
Oh, you must
and we were
sick.
both ready to
You're
be.
ready to be
Vomit.
Well, that's what we must have. You know,
I do.
you want to know the highlight
Remember.
of Josephine's visit?
It
Wasn't
was
my
my
garden. I was very into organic gardening.
She
and
didn't care.
vegetable.
It was
Well, no.
dirty.
Well, yeah, it was grubby
It
because
was
you
dirty,
don't do
you
that.
don't touch
But
it.
the thing is, her big deal was going to a place called Lloyd's. It was like I'd say it was one of these wonderful, you know, country type supermarkets that had everything, you know, like a Walmart.
Yeah,
of
like
of its time.
An early Walmart.
An early Walmart. And that's what, you must have had that ice cream when you were just flowing. And isn't he darling? Look at that.
I
Yeah.
said, you were like, oh,
Oh,
hi.
yeah. And then
You knew him then.
Yes. He wasn't a runaround guy at school, was he?
Run around?
I mean,
run around
No.
guy. What?
Well, I mean,
Never.
Was he one of those fast and loose
How
boys?
could he not be looking like
Or were the
that?
girls all after him?
Well, I didn't go to high school with him, so
Oh.
I don't know what he was like.
I always thought, well, then you
But
had
what
a
was,
job.
when
For
you
the
first
record,
saw him,
no.
what was it like when you first saw him?
See,
Did you
these
think,
are
oh my God, he's
these are
that-
from Mankato.
Oh.
Did you think
isn't she?
He was my
He
friend.
was older.
And there you
Oh.
are.
brother's friend.
I love
Right,
that.
but didn't you
That's
think, oh
probably
God, he's such a
closer
good looking
time
guy?
And
Yes,
yes, I think
of
so.
course.
And even
And
to
you
when
didn't
I
know
made
that
the
at that
drawing.
very moment that
Maybe
you
a
saw
little
him, that
A
older.
little older, yeah.
But
X
this is
number of
really
years later,
older.
he's
I think
married.
this is
August
so
71.
funny.
Isn't that
Yeah,
insane?
yeah. I love that holding
Did
up
not
in
know
there,
that.
that I'm
Isn't
so
Isn't that so
pretty with my
wonderful?
another
You said
little
that's
wrinkle.
just like Johnny Carson. Let's have a toast to Johnny.
That's right.
Not a
Did
wrinkle
not
in
know
sight.
that.
I was already in my
Get
40s.
your wine.
Oh, yeah, you would have been.
Yeah, so I said not a wrinkle in sight, and I was already over 40.
I know,
in
but you
my
look
40s.
like, I never looked that young when I was that young.
Oh, stop it. But I mean, that's marvelous. Look at
The
that.
picture doesn't lie.
No, I love the way she looks sort of thrown against.
I do. Oh, look at Lisa.
Okay, here's Lisa.
Oh, look at
With Gretchen.
Gretchen. Oh my God.
Oh, no. Oh, that wonderful dog.
Look at her.
Oh, that
wow,
wonderful
there I
Gretchen.
am with her. Oh, that is so cute, Lisa kissing her. Well, that must have made
And then-
Joey want to vomit.
Yeah, and that's you. Oh, Nicole, this is
How
you.
many times did you wash? No.
Oh, look at
Did you wash?
Wouldn't you
I
love
say
to
it to the
have one of
camera.
these?
I know. I want a picture of that. Look
That,
at that. Where are you?
because after
Oh, there you
Gretchen
are.
died,
Did you see this
I used to
picture?
call
Yes.
her Nicole sometimes. I didn't mean to, but when I was alone with
That's
her
just
up in
her. Oh my
Cragsmore,
God,
I would
that's
say,
amazing.
Nicole,
Look
Stop
at
chewing,
that.
Nicole.
and that is Lisa.
That is
That's not
so
you.
cute of her.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Now
That's
look, there's their
passionate
chair.
kiss.
That's
The
we
same chair.
have- still here.
Right there.
It's threadbare, but I think this is so sweet.
That is so
Yeah,
cute.
that looks like the 50s, but it's the
It's
60s.
not. It looks like the 60s. I'm wearing a hippie shirt.
Yeah,
It's
a very-
71
Yeah, it's a
Okay,
hippie
there
shirt.
we are,
Well, she was sort of
71.
a,
in August.
well, you were slower to get on the hippie train because you were like.
Oh, yes, but wait, there's more. Check these two out.
Oh,
wow! Oh my God! Oh my God! I
You'll
look
flip
like
when you
a
see these.
pencil.
well, you were.
I look like a pencil.
You're still.
And I-
If you think oh my
And
God!
all I
Getting
could think
ready to
of,
go. Where will we
all I
going?
could think of is, this is my cousin.
And this is my cousin with the same. I knew we had the same thought.
This is my cousin.
And I thought, this is really too bad.
It's really a shame that we're cousins.
Yeah, it really is, because we really dig each other. No, but look at here. That's our garage in Thompson
Yes.
Ridge. You must have been getting
There's
ready
the
to go
door.
back to school.
Yep, we were pretty sad then. That's right.
Look at the sun on I had breasts.
Very small.
I don't know what happened, but it was small. Oh, you noticed? No. Okay.
But that is a hippie
I remember
phase.
those pants,
Look at,
those white pants.
yes.
Abby still hasn't seen.
And look at that
I have
side
got to
view.
have,
Look at
I have
that
got to
side
have copies.
Look at that
Let
side
Abby
view.
see these
Oh,
because
that
she's just
side
not going to
view.
believe the side view. I look like a pencil. Look,
Oh my God.
I even look tall. Look how cute. I can't stand it.
Oh, I didn't even get to
Too
see you.
cute.
Oh, that's right, with the dog. There's
That's
Gretchen and your
Lisa
mom, and then
kissing.
that's
Making
Gretchen.
out.
And that's Gretchen. No,
With the
Gretchen
dog.
and Lisa.
But
Like
I didn't
Snoopy
get to see
kissing
these
Lucy.
either. God, you guys are.
Oh, we're
I'm
sorry.
We blew right past
We're
those.
so excited.
Oh.
See, you weren't alive then, so.
So I don't get to see it.
You don't count. You don't count.
Oh my God, Mom.
But it is fun to see pictures
No,
somebody
it's
else
so
took of a
big.
time.
Babe,
Yeah.
When
look at the
naturally,
sun on
I
it looks
can
like
remember,
a
but then I
pose.
didn't know you were taking pictures of
Right,
it, you know? and-
right.
I had
Look at you looking
I had it all.
down.
Yeah?
Had it all. What happened?
Do you think that's when you began to think you were a rich girl?
I always thought I was a rich girl.
Unfortunately.
It was unfortunately not true, but that was the way I grew up. And then everybody who met me thought I was a rich girl.
She assumed she was a rich girl.
Okay, we'll start this one the other way.
But I wasn't a rich girl.
Oh.
I think
Oh, was
that's-
that in the pool?
Yeah. Whose house
Cool.
is this?
Where's,
pool?
that's the house
That's
in
from the
Thompson Ridge.
backyard,
Yeah.
Oh.
Thompson Ridge.
That was their first house.
71. So
Yeah,
you're-
that's when we bought, that's Thompson
So
Ridge.
this is like that picture of wait, I'm trying
It
to
was a
think of
darling
picture of
house because-
oh my God, look how cute. Look at you struggling to stay afloat.
That's you two.
That's
Oh,
you.
Well, I didn't like
I'm
it.
totally happy. My mother's there. Oh my God, can
Oh,
I
no,
hold on to
no,
this?
no, that-
Am I gonna die?
No, I love being in a pool because I could touch bottom anytime I chose to.
Even
don't
if it
like
was over
people-
your head.
Oh, yeah, I could jump in it.
Just by
But
second.
yeah, it was a nice, oh, that's such a nice view of the house.
That's a really.
They have their real estate license, they just told me.
I
That's
know,
right.
isn't that
Yeah,
great?
but they can't sell
They
this house
can't sell
again
this
for me.
one.
That would
But
be
we
It was
did
such a
pretty
cute
well in
house.
that house, but isn't that sweet?
Yeah,
It
I
had
never
that lovely
saw the
deck.
house from that angle.
No, and then the apple orchards, and then
Mhm.
the way you got the light, and I forgot that somebody gave us that hammock, and we did have it strung
I
out.
did too.
No, and there's
Aw.
the pool. No, I wasn't afraid. I had that thing to hang on.
Well, you look like you're struggling.
Well, I'm probably laughing. You know what?
Oh, look at your brother.
That's a cute one.
That's exactly the way I remember.
He
That's
used
right.
to, he used to wear
Just
his
like
sunglasses over his glasses.
Over his glasses, yes, it was so funny.
And there's something with the whole.
And there's
with
Jimmy and
cows.
Lisa.
That's,
Is that
that's much
horses?
earlier, but,
Is
Where
that
was
in
that?
Massachusetts?
no,
Where were you living?
I'm guessing it's New Jersey.
And that's when your dad looked like he was going through his Harry Connick Jr. phase.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't know Harry Connick.
But he looked like
Connick
Harry
wasn't born
Connick
yet.
Jr. Right, it was just Harry Connick in those days, but
Oh.
he looked like Harry Connick Jr.
Mhm.
Did she ever
Great.
give that picture to Lisa? Did she destroy it?
Which one?
That wonderful one with the piano?
No, Lisa talked about that, she wanted it,
Oh,
and
that,
she never got it.
yeah,
Joey never gave it
it
to
was the
her?
most, that was something, if Jimmy had a will, he should have had it in there, because it was the most.
Of him playing the
A
piano.
professional friend of his, somebody who did photography profession, took this picture of him
Oh,
playing
great.
at his piano, the most relaxed, wonderful,
Mm.
and it was a big, you may not remember it, it was, frame matted, and she just,
She never,
and Lisa,
she was never able to
Lisa
get
talked
it?
about that
Oh,
last
yeah.
year, that
What did she do
she
with it?
asked-
she
wonder
asked
where
her
it
for
is.
it when they moved, I think after they moved, or before they moved,
I bet Joey got rid of it because it was before her time.
yeah, maybe.
Oh,
But it was so
God.
wonderful, and he was smoking, not at the time, but it was like with Astor, but it was the moment, and he was so happy
Mm.
playing like he tried to think he could do like Oscar Peterson, and he had never taken lessons. Like he could do. No, but he thought, he knew he was a drummer, but he didn't recognize that he could still, he played by ear, but he could
Mm.
play anything by ear, but he wished he could have just done more, but he was doing something, on that picture, whoever it was. I think it was taken in the city,
Mhm.
When they had the
And they-
apartment in the village?
but they had, they were near the village, but they weren't right in the village, they were sort of half and half. But I'm trying to think, whether, because I remember he was so proud of that, a friend who did it of him. And I think you were all still living together, it wasn't done when they were separated or anything.
No.
It was a pre,
Mhm, mhm. Oh, I remember.
in fact, it might have been that
That's so
friend of his, this black guy who was a wonderful musician, and
Randy Weston?
yes, and he composed this song called Lisa
Lisa
Lovely.
Oh, yeah,
Right,
I
and
remember
Randy
that.
Weston was quite a
Wow.
well-known jazz
Yeah.
piano, and my brother, knew him, and he'd come to the house a couple of times. So that was in New York,
Right.
and I have
That's
a
right.
feeling that's when that picture was taken, and it probably did mean that it was pre her life with
Oh,
him, and
yeah,
it was
so-
meaningless.
And so she couldn't even step outside of herself to
Oh, no.
understand that it could be meaningful to
Well, no,
Lisa.
some people are.
I mean, she had no empathy at all.
But let's not,
None.
that's what I'm saying. I remember Lisa and I both, we felt this terrible, because Lisa had asked him for it or her for it, and then she was sure that he would have told her that Lisa could have it. Because I think it happened before they moved that time from Delaware.
Hmm.
And that's when, maybe even, Lisa went down, no, she could have seen it at their house in Arkansas. And they might have had it up, because he had it framed, it was framed beautifully and just simple. And maybe she said, maybe Dad, I want that, give that to me someday. And that's where I think, that's why it bothers her so. Because then when they moved from Arkansas to that apartment in Delaware, nothing was ever followed through.
It could be you.
I know, isn't
That's
that
so
amazing? He
neat.
does it, it is.
That's just so amazing.
Look at him laughing. But this might have been in New Jersey, because she was pretty young there. And you had friends who, oh no.
Oh my, I know we just skipped one, but,
Oh.
oh my God,
that-
oh my God, wait.
Oh, look, you were good.
That
Look
is
at that
so
wonderful head.
cute, and those paws.
Don't you love, don't you? And she was pretty young then. She couldn't have been, if 2 years old, maybe not even 2. But she'd gotten her full size. She was young.
Yeah, yeah, she
I
was.
don't remember when we got her, but she was
That
more
is
than a puppy,
so
but she was in it.
cute.
And there you are. Oh, that's his favorite one.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, I love the mother and daughter one looking at each other. He does have a series of pictures.
Hello.
Hello! Right. That is so cute. And your mother looks like Karen Carpenter. You know,
Seems to be in a
Carpenters.
garage.
I never
That's where
thought
we
of
had
her
our
as looking
wedding
that.
reception.
In the
In the
garage?
garage.
What
It
is
was
she
in the
holding?
backyard, but then it started to rain.
Well, it started to rain, so you all went indoors.
What
the
is?
garage.
What's your mom holding in her hand? It looks like a big pine cone.
Maybe she's
Probably.
showing her how to make
Probably.
them. Well, yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she lost all her
See?
box of stones too in that fire.
Yeah, what
Hard
is
to
she
lose stones in a fire, isn't
I couldn't really.
I know, but.
it? Looks like a baked potato.
Oh, maybe it is in foil.
I thought it looked like a rock.
Or maybe
She
it's
had
a
a
rock.
lot of rocks that
Lisa,
were very
potatoes
meaningful.
are very good for you.
Would that be something she would have said?
No, I think it's a rock.
It's too shiny.
It's a decorated rock. And
It's
Lisa
a
doesn't
rock
look
covered
certain.
in
Look at
foil.
little Lisa. She's got her hair turned
I know,
under in a
look at
kind
that
of
little
page
haircut.
boy.
It's so cute.
She might have been learning how to put it up or something. Isn't that cute?
Yes, it's adorable.
Your mother looks so good with
So
short hair
cute.
always. I wonder what that is.
I
We'll
know.
never know.
It's a, well, maybe
Lisa will
remember.
know. And this
What is it?
Lisa.
What is that in your in her
She
hand?
looks like oh,
Joey's just got that typical disdainful look.
Yes, always that disdainful
oh no,
look.
this is the content look. I've got my man.
I've got my man. I've got him.
And I'm going to keep him to myself.
Right.
Oh,
and
what
not
a
anybody
smug
else have
expression.
it.
You caught that. But that's sweet of
Wow.
him. That's a really sweet picture of him for older
He didn't
as
know
he
what
ages.
he was getting into.
Well, he did.
It's a beautiful picture.
But I love
of
it.
him.
I love it because it. I mean, even with his
Oh, yes,
haircut.
look at her.
Now, where do you think you took that?
It
that
is a
wasn't-
great
That's in our
photo.
house in Judson.
Oh, they
So,
came out.
They came out.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
Yeah. And,
Well, yes, because Hannah was born, and they had pictures of her toddling around.
Right.
Yeah. I think they sent me a couple
Black
pictures.
eyelashes.
Probably, yeah.
Because, yeah, she was little.
Yeah.
I know.
And he brought, they brought a big grocery bag full of food. He had like head
There it
cheese.
is.
And I had never had head cheese that I know of before. And we cut off big slices of it and ate it. He thought it was great. I thought,
I know,
it's
it's
head
just so
cheese.
cute.
How great can it be?
Horrible.
Yeah.
Look at the old
It's actually
van.
just a type of like bologna
It
and
is,
jelly
it's
and
just
gelatin.
jelly.
It's mostly they use a lot of veal and pork
cute.
and stuff.
I've got those
And
same
the
pants on.
Germans eat it with
No.
like dill pickles
So
and vinegar.
cute.
And they
And look at this car here. We're looking at the old cars. This one
Oh, yeah.
here.
Well, that must
and
be
then
at
that
Lloyd's.
van.
That's the wonderful
Maybe it was,
supermarket
yeah.
because that's what she
And that's
wanted.
where we went to get ice cream.
That's what she, well,
Yeah,
we went
okay,
to
then.
Middletown.
Middletown,
But then she
right.
wanted to go to that, and she just loved it. It was the high point of her visit, was going to Lloyd's, the shopping center, she said. Where's the shopping center, Val? And then there was that horrible drive back, and but on the road leading to our house was just a little grade.
Oh.
You couldn't call it a hill.
Uh-huh.
And she kept jerking her foot on the brake constantly.
Yeah.
I
to
have
the
never
point where
driven.
you're-
I told Jim about it, and we.
Oh,
but
really?
it'd be so you know why? It's either a nervous driver.
Very.
That's our lawyer looking back.
And I think
Because it was gas break,
Looking
gas
dumb.
break,
Yeah, yeah,
gas
yeah,
break.
and there was no real hill to worry about, you
No,
know,
right.
and no traffic. It was on a country road with no traffic, and she was still
That
doing
looks
it.
like you brought
Right.
it down.
I know, I'm
It was
telling
a
you,
rather
we
bad,
look
I
a lot,
remember.
especially
Yeah.
I
in,
didn't like it, you
We
know.
were in the back seat.
in the
right?
video.
Yeah, I was in the front, of course, and all
I
three of you
know.
were in the
There's
back.
some- there's a
You,
great
Lisa, and,
balance.
And then I remember driving with her, and she
Yeah,
would
later.
always, if she was in the back seat, she'd always be putting her hand on the back of the front seat.
oh, like you were going too fast
Yeah,
or something?
whoa.
Oh, because she was
Whoa,
braking back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she'd keep doing it.
The way she would do this, driving, it would be like you'd be doing this.
It's horrible.
I can remember just
We
sitting
got
there,
these melting
You're
ice
right,
cream
I
cones
can't
with the
even
windows
eat
up
them.
and no air
And then she
conditioning.
would get angry
Why'd
because,
she have
you
the
know, we
windows
were
up?
getting
Oh, for her
our,
hair not to blow, maybe.
right, probably the hair,
Mhm.
without air conditioning, right,
Now, who's this? Lisa.
there's Lisa.
And here
And
he
this
is
is the,
again.
no, this is the attorney, this is the lawyer for Lisa.
Yeah,
Which
he's,
one?
he's about your age, and I think that, that's a picture taken in Mankato when he was probably a senior in high school. And we were out at the state park, Minneopa Falls, you can see the falls in the background.
Right.
Everybody was swimming, and, you know, he's not a very athletic character, as you can tell.
Right.
I thought it was pretty
Doesn't have a
photogenic.
single muscle on his body.
What do you mean he's a lawyer?
He's an attorney in Mankato now.
Oh, now?
And now, and
He's
then
a
he
partner
became
in
a.
the firm.
But who was he going with then? Was he dating Lisa?
He was dating nobody that I've
Well,
ever
then why
heard
did
of.
you take a picture of him?
He just was there.
He was a really close friend of my roommate,
Oh,
Brad Jones, and
okay.
who also became a really successful attorney.
well.
He was in
It just
But
is
he
a
looks-
funny picture.
But it's a
But it's
very
just a
funny
funny
picture. It's like, what?
Yeah.
And where was this?
That's cute. That,
Where was that taken?
that's
It's like a restaurant or
Yeah, it does.
That's adorable picture of Lisa. Isn't that sweet? And her
Yes.
hair kind of suntan and,
Very.
oh, these are such fun, oh, and there he's with his
Oh, and
shop.
that is a great
Oh, I love, well, that,
picture.
see now that piano picture, younger.
Yeah, it was like
He had a
that,
white shirt on and a
right.
tie, and it was so, but that would be the same angle almost if he was
Yes,
playing the piano.
absolutely.
Maybe he was playing the
What
piano
a
then.
beautiful picture.
Yeah,
He
he
looks
was
like he
playing the
was.
piano, 'cause that would
See
be-
that soft
And
look
that
come over his
concentration,
face?
yeah. And here he's working on his lathe or whatever.
Oh,
it
I
is.
want a copy of that. Because
It's beautiful, I do
it's
too.
just the
but-
way I remember him.
Yeah, and that was later on, after he had moved farther away, and here he's
What a
getting older.
Great picture.
That is wonderful, just beautiful. And it's all, oh, it's a nice color, he looks healthy and fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that concentration that other one had, the same thing, that,
That's
like looking lovingly at the keys.
Yeah,
that
really,
that
it's a
was
very,
what, that
it's
was
a
what
very
that one was.
affectionate
And then it was a little bit bigger, and you could see his shoulders more, and even, but that's great. And then was this in Arkansas?
I think so. It's
In his little
in
shop?
his shop with the window.
Before she got rid of the shop.
Oh,
That's
yes,
neat.
see, he's much older here than he is here. Because that must have been where, back in,
That was in Highland Park, I think.
yeah, he had his music in that little room that, well, he
He
did.
did a lot of work on that house.
Well,
Did
he,
you
yes,
ever
and also he wanted you
did
to
you
help
ever
out.
meet
One
him?
time you were
Oh,
there,
doing-
helping
oh,
put something on the outside and kind of a breezeway or
So that's where
something.
you saw him.
But then he
Right.
thought that they could have made that one little room into a room for Lisa, he told me, and then that was canceled out.
Did he
For some
strike you
reason.
as
Well,
being
for some
somebody
reason.
who had,
Yeah.
like,
We know
who
why.
had Alzheimer's? I mean,
She
was he
wouldn't
really
have
old?
it. I mean, one small young girl was
I
kind
know,
of
he's
just
really
upset,
Couldn't talk.
you know, the whole
And,
setup. And yet he had fixed that room so it could be made into a,
And
not just for visits, but it could have been, and he was very good at planning something like that. So,
I took it to movies and the three of those were in the movies because
did you take any more pictures of you sliding down the hills like people do in Hawaii? Oh, no, this is Australia, they don't do that. in
Oh,
Australia.
yes, right.
I could put 'em
I
on
think
and
this
see
is
if you could do it.
wonderful.
I guess I need
This
Oh,
is
we
sort of
have to
sad,
do
but
it, yeah.
it's a time that I wasn't seeing him often, but his hair was
I'm sure she
thinning.
would
But I still liked the
appreciate seeing it.
concentration, and he was making these little funny little
Things,
things.
and
Yeah,
trinkets and stuff.
and he kind of designed them
Oh, you know,
himself.
what
And
we
she was
done.
making
But
butterflies,
it really, it looks
Hmm.
like
I think. Isn't that
in the
sweet? But
picture,
see, you
yeah,
knew that
how
house.
he had
What does that
I
say?
can tell he's really
Talk
enjoying
about-
Oh, that's good.
Was that
listening
his
to the
writing?
2,000-year-old
That's-
man.
Looks like
Oh,
his writing.
really?
That's how he was laughing.
He
Does
loved that.
Yeah, that's his
yes.
writing. Talk about
That was why
5
when I
years
said,
of
I hope I'm an
change.
artist, that he,
Small
in that,
change.
on that
Oh, that's
2000-year-old man,
cute.
the
His
guy
joke,
said,
Yeah.
Carl
Yeah,
Weathers said, I hope
see.
I'm an actor.
Maybe because
Yeah.
5 years, they lived there 5 years,
But,
maybe he
Yeah.
felt.
So he
And I
recognized
think he had
that,
that-
right? Then he
that
was, he knew it, he
bowel,
knew it.
that-
really
bladder
talk about
problem.
Prostate
Yeah.
problem.
Well, no, it was bladder.
Yeah,
Remember there was a
right,
cancer somewhere in the
There
bladder
really wasn't
vesicle
very
or
much
something, and then they
interaction.
treated it.
Right, and they got
It might have been
cancer.
during that time that he was recuperating.
Mhm.
Who's
No.
this?
No, this is Lisa and her husband Mark Alden.
Oh, that's,
Oh, is this the picture?
And this is down, we went down to Puerto Vallarta,
oh,
and the 4 of us, and
Oh,
that's on a
wow.
beach.
oh, look at
That's
her.
so
Doesn't she look
cute.
exotic?
Very. Relaxed.
And look at him with his beer.
That's so cute.
I know what he looks like. I mean, I've seen his pictures.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
a big man, isn't he? Kind
Mhm.
of tall. Well, that's cute. And you went together?
That is
Yeah.
so cute.
You
That's
two?
great.
Wonderful. And how long ago was that?
Year and a half,
Oh,
almost
what
2 years.
fun. Oh, that's
It was a
great.
great trip.
Well, that's so nice. And she looks so cute. And
I
kind of
know,
like
right?
she's making a little joke at it, you know.
Yeah, right.
That was a place called Yalapa where there are 100 people living in this village on the beach.
Oh,
Right at
And-
the edge
That's
of the
it?
rainforest.
100 people?
Right.
Wow.
And there are no roads, no cars at
how
all.
did you get
How
there?
did you find it?
You take, from Puerto Vallarta, you take a taxi to the next town, and then hop in a water taxi and go for about 20, 25 minutes by water.
Wow.
And then they bring you around this big, you know, gulf, plastered rock, and it's just like coming into Gilligan's Island Bay. It's
Oh,
just
how
beautiful.
beautiful. Yeah, all that
Yeah.
wonderful blue water.
And you come in and there are 5 grass huts, because there are 5 families that make up these 100 people.
Oh.
And they each have a grass hut where they sell, you know, ceviche and shrimp and
Oh, God.
fish and serve tequila or cervezas
so
on the beach.
great.
Oh, and
And
that's
they
where
put you
you're
in these
sitting?
swing chairs right away. You know.
Oh, right away.
Yeah.
And get you, start pumping you up with tequila.
Well, and the good
And
It's just like
Mexican
the
beer.
Corona ad where they stick the pager in the
Yeah,
water.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
remember
like
that, yeah, that, exactly. But that sounds
Oh,
great. And how many
neat.
days were you there
We were there almost
in
a
that
week.
village?
Mark went down first, and
Oh, really?
he goes down there fairly often.
Oh.
So he scoped out all the places to go, and then we
Except
went
this one.
down. Yeah, we found that one.
But does
we
he
went
fit, you
down-
mean to fish? Does
No,
go-
I think he just goes down there to relax.
Well,
And usually February or March, when it's really
Oh,
cold in
yeah.
Minnesota, it's really warm down there.
or maybe he
so-
goes
That's
to
a
get,
good time to
because he
go.
does, like, you know, people's
We'd like to
taxes and
go.
stuff, so maybe the pressure's off
Mhm.
either before,
Right.
you know, because they get so busy during those
They
other
charge
2
you your
months,
back.
yeah.
Yeah. So we went down, I think, on Saturday, and Lisa came down the next Thursday. So she was
So-
only there, she
oh,
was there
like
for
a-
4 days,
Like a,
and we came back on
like a
Saturday.
4-day weekend.
Like a weekend,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you flew?
But it was the first time Lisa had been away from home and
I was gonna
the
say.
4 kids for quite some time.
Oh,
Yeah, well, that's why she
Big
looks so
vacation.
kind of,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah, she looks really.
Mm.
But
Oh, that must have been
I was telling
great.
Nicole, you were saying that she went to a, pardon me, you went to a place, like a retreat?
Oh yeah, the Pachaman Terrace.
Oh, yes.
Where's that?
Oh, that's up by us. It's a place out in the woods. This woman started a retreat prayer center, and you stay in a little individual hut. They call it a hermitage, and they bring cheese and a loaf of bread, and there's a little hook outside if you want to communicate with them, but basically you're there by yourself.
They are
No,
beautiful.
but the little boy pictures,
Yeah.
I can just see the same face of him. When you sent me
Okay.
pictures, that is
Oh, they're
wonderful.
great. That's wonderful.
That's great.
That-
Oh, she does.
Doesn't she look like Julia? Oh, they're all so cute.
But I think Kyle is looking a lot like Lindsay, like
Oh, yeah, I
different
love it.
ages, how they change. That's a great
That
group.
is, what a great group, yeah.
And where was
Wait,
this, at
that's
their
all?
house or yours?
Yes.
That's at
That
Lisa's.
was at Lisa's house.
That's at Lisa's.
Cute.
Now, they moved again, didn't they? I had the Chaska, and then I have another address, and then
The
on
Chaska.
It's so
last year's
fun,
card,
isn't it?
she
I
said,
wish we could be there.
They,
notice,
from Chaska, they moved on to Mankato for a while, now they're back in Chaska.
oh,
So when
it's a
was this
different
taken?
place. A
then
year ago
maybe
Christmas.
I
A year
don't
ago.
have the proper address as
So
it
we
is.
went down there in the summertime, and you get to see all these, meet all these cousins. They're like, what would they be, third cousins?
Second cousin.
Third.
No,
Yes,
third,
he's a
because
second cousin
Christopher
to
is
me.
a third, is a second cousin.
To me.
Chris and Lisa are second cousins, so they're third cousins.
Well, you're first cousin, so they would only be second, because they're children
Yeah,
of
but-
first.
Yeah, but they're third cousins to them.
Because he would be a second cousin to me.
Right.
How so?
Because he's a first cousin to her.
It goes
Oh.
down.
Oh, I
They
didn't
can't be
think of it
first,
like that.
they can't be first
She
cousins.
looks so much like Julia,
I know, it's amazing.
the daughter of
It's a friend of Abby's.
So those are all Lisa's, and so you
cute.
see the picture I had,
Not all
that
Lisa's.
Christmas, no,
That one's a year older, that's from 2003.
no, I know they're not all
Yeah,
Lisa's,
I know.
but they were all there together, I mean,
Right,
it's their house.
that is just so cute, the party, it was so, oh wow,
It's Halloween, or,
Christmas.
Christmas.
I love the hats. And oh,
Just
they're falling
adorable.
down.
Such a
that
great
picture I
picture.
gave you for the
Yeah, she's really photogenic. Bit of a ham.
I can see that, it's so
See, this-
funny.
I think probably I should write,
Oh, look at that, that's so wonderful. Oh, that is
oh, he looks like
great.
that movie actor who, who is he look like?
I love it, that's just great.
That is a wonderful
must
picture,
have.
and
I
is that
know.
in Australia again?
Yes.
Look at the little koala bear.
And I love the hat.
And the geckos.
Yes.
I love
Oh,
that.
that is a great
That is
picture,
so
Chris.
cute.
Oh, that is adorable. But you see, I
Nice
don't,
job.
and I don't usually see
Very
you with
nice.
glasses,
You
but
took
you're
that,
wearing
right?
glasses
Yeah, that's
there.
a
I'm
great
used to his
photograph.
eyes being right out.
Sure.
But that is, that's why he looks like some actor. I can't think who it is. I can't think who that is, but it looks, maybe it's an Australian actor.
And this is really
this is our wedding.
cute. That is adorable.
I have to put my
I
glasses on
love
now.
it. Pretty dress.
Oh, how adorable.
Look how happy. Oh, I
And that's a
love
that
it.
beautiful blue
Mhm.
and, oh, and look at you, just jubilant.
I know.
I love
you
the
got-
bow tie.
The bow
matching
tie to go
bow
with the
tie.
dress.
Yes, yes, the blue
so
tie and the boutonniere. Oh,
Just
and that took
adorable.
place where?
In Anoka, which is a
Yeah,
small town by
yeah,
us.
that's where you.
Oh, that's so
It's
cute.
a wonderful
You've been
picture.
wearing, so your hair is now you have bangs.
Well, you
Mhm.
can't really tell in that picture, but my hair used to be really long.
Well,
Yeah,
I can tell, yeah, you had it
yeah.
pulled back in some
I
ways.
got it cut right before we went to Australia.
Uh-huh.
because-
Because I can tell there's a lot of hair back
Well, I
there.
like your hair like that. I think that's
Wonderful.
really beautiful.
Now, who's this?
These are my kids.
Oh,
This is my oldest,
cute.
Tanya.
She's
And
adorable.
then
Oh, they're
Alex.
wonderful.
Oh, boy.
These three went to Australia with us, so this is Tanya,
Oh.
Molly, and Erin.
Oh, I thought you had,
Adorable.
I thought you had only two girls.
No,
Two
just
of each.
boys.
I didn't realize you had two boys.
Aren't they wonderful? They're beautiful.
Gorgeous. So now who is
Look how related they look. I just
Now-
love
now
that
this
stuff.
is in Australia.
That is so neat.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is in Australia.
Oh, they all went?
Mhm.
Those three.
And what was he doing? Staying working?
Well, he had gone to Europe for 8 weeks the summer
Oh.
before, and
Oh,
he was
really?
just gonna be finishing school and
Look at all
Where
that.
where was he going?
Yeah.
Did he
And there's
go
another
to?
one up there.
He went to school and graduated and is
Minnesota.
working as a graphic artist.
That's so. Oh, that's the one.
So he's,
right.
how old is he? He looks
he's gonna be 24 in March.
wonderful.
Isn't
That's
it cute?
Lindsay's age.
Right. Just.
Oh, they're
adorable.
handsome.
Yeah.
And
No.
she's sweet. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
she
they
almost
are.
looks a little like Hannah there. But I suppose not in real life, she wouldn't. But she has that oval,
Yeah.
kind
yeah.
of a beautiful pre-Raphaelite oval face. You know, beautiful with the dark hair. And
Mhm.
those are great pictures. Isn't that wonderful?
Certainly are.
So come
Handsome
visit next summer.
kid.
And you can
I think they're
everybody.
gonna have to do that.
And here he is
Is it
again.
real?
Is it a real
Yeah,
one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
And that's your daughter, Tanya?
No. In
A
Australia,
yeah.
they have people
trainer.
working at these
Her
places
trainers,
that
yeah.
hold them so
I
that
would
they
like,
can-
but
Yeah,
it
it looks
could
a
be
little
Tanya.
like
It looks a
Tanya,
little
yeah.
like Tanya because I have the same hair.
That's
and everything.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
adorable of Chris.
God, that is so
I see his eyes
cute.
look like my brother's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look at that, I say, oh, that's sort of Jimmy's. You know,
Yeah.
that eyes, that
Yeah.
Oh,
through
yeah,
the forehead.
From
Oh.
upside down, he really looks like.
Yeah, that's
Look
right.
at that.
That
Oh,
is
there.
so cute. Look
Yeah,
at the
they-
size of
Well,
those
they have
feet
to have them probably,
to climb. And look at those claws.
Yeah.
but they're trained.
Isn't it cute?
Do they let you touch them?
They do. They
Within
tell
limits?
you that it's sort of something frowned on because
Oh.
it does affect their
Yeah.
health over time.
Oh, yeah, it could
Oh,
give them.
wow.
You know.
Well, it's something to do with their fur. It disturbs the oils on
Yes, see,
their fur.
'cause, from different
Really?
places, different,
Yeah.
in other words, it could bring some, like you say,
Mhm.
not an eczema, but something that fur would react to.
Mhm.
Oh, they're so,
They are so
but it makes
adorable.
you, they look like you just want
I
to,
just want to
They're just
squidge
little
them.
tubs, yeah.
but they don't
No.
like to be cuddled, do they? I don't think they're,
And they
hardly-
sleep 20 hours a day.
yeah,
They really.
they're not cuddly
They're very
animals.
And
lethargic,
for
aren't
the
they?
photo opportunities,
Yeah.
they tell you how to pretend like you're a tree
Oh, really?
because they sleep in the eucalyptus trees
Oh,
all the time.
oh, really? So that's what you
Pretend like you're a tree.
Make like you're a tree and leave.
Oh, what a wonderful experience. Oh, that was a wonderful experience for the kids too.
Oh,
To
that's
be with
so
you.
neat.
And how
Yeah,
long did
what
you
a
stay?
great thing to
2
do.
weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, we wanted to stay 3 weeks, but
Oh.
Max couldn't because of his job, so we
Well,
cut it back to
but
just
you
2
did
Which
weeks.
I later was laid off from, so.
Yeah,
oh, well,
so-
good, oh,
Oh,
yeah,
gee.
you wish
Yeah,
you
that was
had
worth it, right?
So that was with
That's
that.
the last time I'm gonna work hard for them.
Yeah.
And it was.
But
It
you,
was.
but you were going there for them, but for you, really, it wasn't a business trip, was it?
Oh, not at all.
No, it was your own
Oh, yeah.
vacation.
But there was some
trip.
customer thing where they're
Well,
gonna make
you-
a decision, and so he wanted to be back for that.
Yeah.
And then they let you go before we even went on our trip, but by then we had made all the arrangements and
What's the
everything.
weather like when you go at a different time and you?
Well, we were there in July and that was their winter.
Yeah,
So-
but it's still pleasant, isn't
And
it?
if you're in
No,
the,
not in the very southern part.
You mean it can get cold?
Yeah, because we were gonna go to New Zealand, but
Mm.
I read that at night it gets down to 32 degrees.
Oh, well,
And
that's.
then we have 4 hours of daylight.
Well,
And
ooh.
so that could be Minnesota.
Yeah, why do you wanna go there,
Well, that could be
right?
Maine, I mean.
yeah, why leave?
At least we get longer hours of daylight, but not much, no.
Not, it's just starting.
But it's such a big country that if you go up to the north
Yeah,
in the winter like this, and go to Cannes, it's just hot. It's,
Ooh.
70s, 80s, mid-80s. But
Yeah,
the
it
water's
is such a
swimmable
bad,
and
yeah.
It's nice.
And then there's that really, what I've read, that really bad, the desert. There's
Yeah,
we
this
were
terrible desert place. Weren't the Japanese trying to build big golf courses and things in certain places? Isn't there a lot of Japanese
In
investment?
Cairns, they were telling us that there are how many?
4
Four
jumbo jets.
Jumbo jets every day that fly in from Japan with 1,500 people
Oh my
on
God.
each plane, and they just come and.
Go to these
Because
resorts?
it's only like 4 or 5 hours for them to fly
Right.
Yes,
from Japan,
So
so
it's a-
they come down and.
but didn't
Spend the
they
night there.
weren't they instrumental in developing kind of
Yeah, they own a lot of
vacation?
that.
Yeah, that's it, vacation spots, so.
God.
So I guess they
Wow.
wouldn't go to the desert, but, I mean, there's,
Hey, it worked in Las Vegas.
yes, it
Yes.
did work a lot.
It's like
Maybe-
the equivalent,
Yeah,
huh?
but maybe
It's-
with the, you
wow.
know, different ways of doing things and getting water and whatnot to a desert environment, maybe it can be done. And they must have built hotels,
Mhm.
right? I mean, they have developed certain areas. Well, that happened to be with that group that I had him, and I don't know why you were there, because it's a different era, different age. That's Muffy
And fluffy.
and Fluffy.
And look at that little curly haired girl. Look, we have the same hairstyle.
That's the time, except for Muffy, she had her hair pulled back.
Yeah, hers was longer. So cute. Look at me.
Good mom, yeah.
I know, so beautiful. Burying in the silver dish.
Yes, I had it all together there, even for a
Yes.
birthday party. Didn't I have about 10 of them sitting around? It was
Yeah.
her 10th birthday, and
That's right.
I made all of them little hair bands and things. Now, see, I want to check this because, see, this is the one that she says here.
Oh, that's for her business.
Well, sure.
Yeah, but then she says, since our last card in 2000.
Oh, new address for the house, sure.
And then she says, new address since our last card. Now, there's her business thing, and what I, it by design, and then that's his, Mr. Alvey, right?
Yeah,
Or
which is
M-
Mark R, right?
Mark R.
But yeah, right.
And that's probably, is that his cell phone
I
too?
guess.
But then that's their home phone.
Mm-hmm.
I see, these are all 612s in Minnesota, or that area.
Right.
So then you do have 2 area codes.
Boy, as they,
Four.
as
Yeah.
they expand, they run out of numbers.
Yeah.
You just start reassigning areas.
So that's when she
Yeah.
wrote that, since our last card, and then she, and so see, that was Have a Wonderful 2004. So that was really fun to get all those last pictures, so. There's the little one, the youngest,
Yeah.
yes. And there she looks together. He's nice looking guy.
Valerie,
There
the
she
newer
is.
smile.
Yes, she's gotten some. But I had understood she was kind of a pixie hoyden, like fun-loving. But maybe she's gotten, how old is she now? She's a little older. Maybe these are the,
She's a responsible babysitter these days.
yeah, she's gotten to that
Very
age
much
of
in
being,
demand.
really, yeah, very poised and able to, yeah. And then the other 2 youngest are kind of little, could get into mischief more. I would think, because they have little pixie smiles, and then Taylor had that funny little hat on. But here she's looking quite, like you say, there's a serious side to her. Oh, she's lovely. When I talked to her once a couple of years ago, this is Aunt Valerie. You can call me Val, Aunt Val. Oh, it's Kyla. I thought it was, no, that's a K.
Yep, Kyla.
That's Kyla. So they all wrote it.
They all signed their own.
Yes, and Rachel, that's hers. That's pretty good for her young age. Valerie's very neat. Well, isn't that great? I have a picture though I had of oh, everybody want water? Yes. Chairs seem to have a.
Did you want some more?
No, I was going to say I had a picture of Jimmy, and I'm trying to think where I put it, because I cut Joey off, and it's a darling picture of him. And
How funny.
I wish I had a larger one.
Is it the one that's right in the hutch here?
It does look like something's been cut out there, doesn't it?
There's one right here. Yeah, come here. It's your brother, and she's been cut off. That's it.
Did I have it stuck in there?
Yes. You had it stuck in the glass.
I think I
there.
wanted to put it in something else, and you said,
Yeah,
get
that's a
rid
nice
of her,
picture.
cut her off.
That's a really
And he
nice
looked so
picture.
good there.
Yeah.
They hadn't been married that long, but they were like visiting some friends for dinner. And that was, I'd say, maybe a few years after they were married.
Yeah, that's great.
But I liked it because he had that kind of, he's doing the Hollywood pose, you know.
Right,
That,
and
that's
then-
the one I cut Josephine off. But this is one that I thought, he looks good there though, I love that. But then he was somewhere on a beach, I don't know whether it was
It's like Frank
Nantucket.
Sinatra, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he's got the real Frank
He
Sinatra
definitely
look,
did.
doesn't he,
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
Mm,
Mhm.
And then this
Did
one,
you see it?
it reminded me of
Oh, yeah.
my father's profile.
Oh, sure, look at that.
Even though my father had
And there's
his
Pierre.
nose broken, yeah, there's Pierre.
Mm.
His nose broken when he was working at the steel plant in Moraine, Ohio, at one short time in his early life. Otherwise, he would have had the same nose as Jimmy. But if you take
Oh, that's right.
But if you take your finger and you don't look at the nose, the same,
Mhm.
I love the whole head.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
then that was a friend of mine.
What
who
did
grew-
Frank do on the road? Was he?
He was with the Stu Shovel for many years. That was before the big Bucyrus area people took over a lot of it. It was a smaller company called Lorraine Stu. I should give you that little shovel.
Oh, that little steam shovel.
That's Pierre. We had a birthday party
remember that.
for Lisa up on the roof. That's a picture of Jim when he was a boy. So I put all these men, all these
All your
men in
men.
my life. These funny little.
All the best men.
But none of them are really in enough. They're just tacked in. And so I guess I was trying to figure out where would he fit in, but then he'd be the only one there in color. So I guess I was going to try to find him. No, I should give you the little shovel.
That would still be all right, because it's almost monochromatic. I
We
mean,
could scan it and sepia tone it.
yeah, right. And,
I love
and
that picture.
That's
I
right,
think
and do it in black and white again, and you can put it in there.
Well, it was,
But it kind of works nicely with this one.
Right.
that's true. That's really early. But that's so funny. He's
That
about
is
3 years
really
old.
cute.
But
It's funny that there's not a picture of Jim in those pictures when you came. Wasn't Jim there?
I wonder. He had to have been there.
He was there.
Yes, well, the one
Is there-
with the double sunglasses on the,
No, not
Yeah.
your
Oh,
father,
Jim, yeah, I
but
didn't see
Jim
one either.
Walsh.
Right.
Isn't that funny? He doesn't appear in any of the pictures.
Hmm.
It's weird.
Usually he would get in the picture.
Usually he would get in.
Well, I mean,
Whether you wanted him in there.
Having been an actor,
Right.
he liked being photo. No, maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't feel. Maybe he thought it was my family and we should. But you weren't taking a picture of him, so maybe he went back to the city. He could have.
I don't
They came
remember
on a
him being
weekend.
there, yeah.
Yeah, because we all
But
talked
I
about
think he
it.
had to have been there.
Well, yes, because we
he
did.
was there.
He
We-
was there.
Because we did the table turning with him.
Right.
And he agreed that Josephine was, how, all I remember him saying, no, all he said was, because she came into my little kitchen, it was a cozy, cute kitchen, but it had
yeah.
little, the spice cupboards were, we didn't make it, but it was above the sink, but this little louver doors, they had, found small ones and put it and then stained them, and then so everything was behind those, but it bothered her if they weren't really tightly closed. I'd sometimes come in and grab something, and I could hear her banging the doors, slamming these doors shut every time she went in the kitchen. And so what was the name of that soup she used to make? with
Pasta
lentils?
fagioli.
No, not pasta fagioli.
Fagioli.
No, it has
Oh, the
some,
lentil soup?
it has the word lentil in it, in Italian of some type. It has to
Isn't
be.
that fagioli?
No, that has
Pasta
macaroni in
fagioli, no,
it.
that's-
Oh, that's with
not
the
that.
bean?
Yeah, that's with bean. The lentil.
Lisa makes
Pasta lendique.
Pasta lentique.
Pasta lentique. She got the recipe.
That's right.
When will you go out there? You see, she'll make pasta lentique for you.
Oh, yeah.
No, and it's a good hearty meal. And but you have. Oh, and she brought her own. That's right. She brought her own zucchinis. 'Cause
Right,
they
I
get-
knew there was more
they
than
get-
just the
they get
lentils.
sliced in
Nothing
up
was
too.
good enough except for her
Oh
own.
yeah, and she had to
That's
bring her
right.
own lentils. But I remember her going in the kitchen, Val, she'd say, and then she, bang, bang, bang. I said, what's happening? But she's slamming these doors. They don't shut completely tight, she said. Somebody rigged them up, some handyman things, or maybe the people who owned the house before we did. But it didn't bother me that the catch didn't catch it tight, because I was always open. But this time, so I remember Jim saying to me, though later after we were alone, when he said, be glad that in a way, I know for you, you'd like to see your brother more often, because he liked Jimmy a lot, he really did. And he said, I'm glad in a way they don't live near us.
Just because of her.
Yeah, that's what he meant.
Of course.
Because it was like, you knew that you would never, ever measure up.
Right.
You wouldn't, you had to walk on eggs in case you said something, it would be,
Interpreted.
she would interpret it
Negatively.
in a negative
Right.
way, or
She was
she'd
always
thrust this
judging.
question at you.
Yeah.
What, Val? You don't like that? What, that type of thing. Oh, and she said to me, how many shells do you have? And I didn't know what she
Shells.
meant. You'll love this. I didn't know what she meant. I said, shells? She said, yes, little sleeveless shells. She uses those words like, I suppose the Home Shopping Network, that would be her whole mecca. But I thought that was so banal.
Like
that
you would even discuss it.
Describe your clothes
With someone.
according to the copywriter's, push.
Right.
You might say, oh, that's pretty I wouldn't probably even say that's a pretty shell. I might say, oh, that's a neat color or something you're wearing. To me, they were just sleeveless blouses, but they were called shells. And the same thing with shoes. She called them ballerinas. The little slip-on leather small thing. So, I mean, you see, you couldn't share too much with somebody
No, there
like
was
that.
not very much in
And why would you
common.
care how many someone had?
I know.
Well, that's what I
would the-
mean. How
what would
many
the
shells do you
significance
have,
be?
Val? It was a real, you know,
Like,
woman
it
to
was a
woman.
competition, though.
No, it was a little bit woman to woman. She was sort of making a kind of a bonding
Yeah.
thing there. Yeah.
Like,
And
how many bras do you have?
that would have been too intimate. The thing is, no, in fact, I think she knew I didn't wear a bra. And that was a little horrible. I said, oh, I never wear a bra.
Oh, no, that would have totally
Well, she
horrified her.
had to accept it, but maybe it went in her book.
Who knows, that may have been
Her
one
book
of the reasons.
bad marks
That's
against
right.
Val. I don't know. I mean, because I say it's sometimes with certain people, and it was unfortunate because you just somehow couldn't win. But I don't get as,
Blowing it.
you know, incensed about her as I might have. I kind of let it go.
And I remember a story
I have to.
about your brother when he was young. He told the story about how they, he and some of his buddies got a mannequin from a store.
Oh yes.
And you want to tell it?
No, you tell it.
Because what I recall,
I'll just concur with you and add something that if I needed to embellish it.
So they laid this mannequin out
A
on a
full-size
table
mannequin?
Yeah.
In our
A
basement.
life-size?
in the basement, and they put some kind of a bladder in where the belly was. They must have cut the belly out and put some kind of an air bladder type thing in there. And they had the table draped
And it was,
so that
you know,
he was
Bride of Frankenstein is what was supposed to be.
okay. And
Oh
so they got
my
it all
God.
dressed up and stuff. And then they charged admission for
Yeah.
people to come down and see
10
it.
cents or
And then
something.
and then he would be underneath
Pulling the bladder
And it
to
was
make it
kind of
look like it was going up and
blowing on
down?
a tube.
Yeah.
and
He
like
ripped
this
it
so
up.
that they could see it breathing.
Yes,
And
right,
the kids were
right.
just terrified, and it wasn't done for Halloween stunt or anything. It was just an idea. I don't know, maybe it was a moneymaker. I don't really know. But
Yeah, maybe they were charging
He got
it.
this idea, and they didn't charge more than maybe 10 cents or something. But it was the room, you know, the basement was kind of dark and dank anyway, not bad. But he had it, like you say, over the windows because there were basement windows, so it would be kind of gloaming, you know, everything, and you go in there, it was everything shrouded, kind of all gray, and then a light. He had a light fixed on it, and I think, you know, whether he made the hair look, but it pretended it was the idea was the Bride of Frankenstein. But there was this body.
How old were they then?
I don't know. He was a teenager then. Yeah, right. A preteen, maybe. Yeah, I think
Going up and down.
freshman in high school. And he had a friend named Reese Weisbrot, and I think he and Reese were planning with him. And Jimmy had those ideas, you know, funny ideas to do. It was to make money, I guess, a little change here and there.
That's
Other than a
great.
paper route.
More creative,
Yeah.
definitely.
And it was eerie looking. In fact, he had it there for several, several weeks. And my mother finally said, Jimmy, take that woman out of there. It's so creepy. I can't go down. She had her laundry in the
Can't go
basement.
down.
She had, years ago, people didn't always have the automatics, and she didn't. And then you had usually always two big wash tubs that sat side by side, whatever they call always in farmhouses. But then you rinsed but then you had a wringer.
The
and
ringer, I remember
You had
the
a ringer, and then you
even
had a
in
machine.
Florida, she had the ringer.
Yeah, she took that with her.
Scared
She
the
never bought.
shit out of me.
We were going to buy her a washer dryer.
Mm.
So then when she got sick,
Yeah.
and then my father a month later, that was going to be what Jimmy and I thought. Mother really, she shouldn't be doing that. Well, she didn't have to do the washing machine. It was an old Maytag, and she did still good, and they moved it down you know, with them, with all their household goods from Ohio. And it was in good shape, but, you know, she had to feed the sheets through that ringer.
That ringer.
And then he would help, he was
bet you don't
retired,
even
and
know
he
what
would
that
help
is.
hang the things out on the,
I bet you don't even know what a ringer is. Tell Abby what a ringer
It's
is.
Well-
rubber rollers with a crank, so you put the clothes in while they're wet.
Yeah.
You start cranking,
And then
it
it
feeds through and
squeezes
just
out all
squeezes
the
all the water
wet.
out.
But they would be totally flat and straight, and it was like, how could anything
But then
ever
you hang
get
'em on the
soft
line,
again? It
then
was-
Shake them out.
Yeah.
and hang them on the line. People wanted to have air dry. They didn't want to just have it all roofed around
Oh, yeah,
in the
yeah.
But she
dryer.
did a lot of sewing.
And she did, yeah, and
That
so,
was wonderful.
I remember
Right.
going down there to Florida and
right, she was sewing draperies and things.
I had my trolls. And
Oh, yes,
she
that
would-
was the troll
And
time.
she would make,
I had my
she would
trolls.
make little suits for them.
Did she make a little outfit?
Yes, have buttons on them and everything.
Oh,
Snaps.
Yes, well, like the doll
You
clothes,
know,
I
I
have a couple
remember
of
the
doll clothes
trolls.
hanging in the,
I
Remember?
remember that. That's right.
We had trolls.
We had
yeah.
trolls, and we had a lot of trolls.
that must have been the
Yeah.
summer.
And those little costumes, those must have been from Grandma.
Right.
That must have
Making
been,
those. I remember little
yeah.
fuzzy
Outfits.
little.
Yeah, little
You couldn't buy
Ari
outfits like
no.
that.
No, they were special.
Like that, oh,
Trolls.
that little outfit that I have, that wonderful little.
Oh, that the cat, yes, that you would
No,
put on
not
a
the
cat.
cat, no.
Well, mine for a doll, but she would put the cat in it too, one of the cats. You should feed that poor cat.
This, I have the orange dress on that French doll
Right,
upstairs.
right.
But this is another one of her little dresses she would make for my Patsy doll. Now that's a lot of work.
Mhm.
Gorgeous
The inset,
dress.
look. if
Isn't
you
that
saw-
absolutely
The
adorable?
inset of this in the pleats, you see, it isn't ironed right now, but that would be the little dress.
And
the
that
little thing.
40s
And look,
or
and look at the
30s
tiny
fabric.
little, you know, the little
Right.
elastic in the
Isn't
thing.
that the cutest
And the
thing in
tiny
the
little,
world?
oh, that the button must have come off, but then I have a little orange linen one that is upstairs on a French towel, and that has all scallops going down the front. And that isn't tiny, but it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so I have little funny outfits that, I still have them, I was gonna hang them in the laundry room. That's why it was in there, I washed it out, and I was gonna hang it up. But the
You
trolls.
bring it out and say, well, it shrunk.
Oh, right. And we used to put them on our cat, Albert, and take pictures of him. I had an orange hat with, it was like.
It was so cute on him.
Yeah, but I
It was
didn't
a
know
good
she
look for
made
him.
outfits.
Yeah.
That must have been when you went down there and went and held the birds at Busch
Tampa,
Garden.
Busch Gardens,
Garden,
right,
and that was when
that's
you drove
right.
straight through, pardon me,
I
from
remember
Chicago.
Because
That
we,
one, yeah,
Mhm.
you only had.
Yep, and he drove, because I was
Oh,
too
you,
young to
you
drive.
were just a kid,
Yeah.
but he
I'd
packed
sleep in
you.
the car, and
Yeah.
he'd be driving,
Yeah, he
and wake
packed you
up,
right
and
in,
he'd
and
be
he,
driving.
and people said, you drove all the way from Chicago?
And
Because
then
he,
I
or
remember
did he
when
pick
we
you
came
up?
into
Sounds just like
Florida,
you.
It was like
See?
6:30, it was about
Oh, yeah.
just break of sunrise, and then we drove up to one of those
And-
Florida orange stands. where
Oh,
they
really?
Crushed, used
What
to
a
crush
nice
oranges
memory, yeah,
right
they
at
were
the,
really
So good.
fresh.
at the
Right
border,
there,
and
yeah.
give you orange juice. It
Yeah.
was just really good.
That was the way they did it, it was
So
like a,
good.
like a merchandising thing, you know,
Yeah.
now they
Can you
don't.
imagine
do it.
today?
No.
Yeah, the real thing.
$4 a glass.
Yes, exactly, and it might be, it might
From
be.
concentrate.
Right,
Concentrate
or they
for
call
all
it
you know.
Orange Julius
No,
or
but that
something.
would, I think, actually, he went to get you in Owatonna or Mankato. Whichever place you were
Really?
in, that's why the trip was even worse, because it wasn't just leaving from Chicago.
Oh, he picked me up.
It
in
was
Minnesota.
before he was
Wow.
married to Joey, and he went to Minnesota and picked you
Oh,
two
yeah,
up.
it was definitely before Joe.
So that was
Yeah.
why it was a long
Free
trip, but he
Joey.
said, no, I can make it, and he packed you in,
Mhm.
and Carol didn't object,
Mhm.
you know, I mean, she felt, well, he wants, you know, she was a wonderful, she wasn't going to make any trouble and say,
Mhm.
oh, you can't do that, but the kids would sleep, in fact, I think he said they can sleep in the car,
Mhm. Yeah.
So they did.
and kids do.
Well, I think I was the only one that went down on that trip.
Yeah, I
Only,
think that was
only,
just
oh,
you.
yeah, Lisa
Yeah.
probably, maybe, who knows, I mean, whatever she was up to.
And I went, I came back
Yeah,
from Busch Gardens,
yeah.
of course, I'd gotten plenty of sun there, and then, Frank had some lumber in the garage, some 2x4s and scraps of wood and the toolbox, and so, I stayed out in the driveway building ships with hammer and fastening little things on.
Yeah, he
and
had
just got the worst sunburn of my
Oh,
life.
God.
I was just toasted. I couldn't
because that
move.
Florida sun.
Yeah, and the
beating it.
white driveway.
And you probably did, yeah, and you probably didn't have a top on. You might have been just sitting there in your little shorts,
Yeah.
working away with
Yeah,
oh,
right.
beating down on those shoulders, those white skin,
Yeah.
that white meat.
White meat.
Right.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Boiling
when you
meat,
think of it.
yes.
Yeah, that was really something.
But he had that little workshop. It wasn't a shop, it was just one section of the garage.
And the garage was
And
always
all
very
his
clean
tools
and-
were neat and things. I think that my brother took all his tools, which meant a lot to him.
Right.
And then he had them with his own tools, but,
And then Joey
And then Joey
sold
got
them
rid
at
of
the
them all.
garage sale.
Got rid of them all.
and some of them were old.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they were either,
Oh, I loved your father's tools. I used to love going out into the garage
And she'd
and
try
go
to
with the
make
workbench, and then I would collect all those insects. And he'd have little jars that I could keep them in, the beetles and everything, and all these, and all his nails were in
Well,
these
there's
jars.
plenty of beetles
and
in Florida.
Baby food jars.
yeah, the baby food jars,
Yeah,
and
and
I
he had it
loved
all.
his workbench.
It was just,
so,
and he wasn't,
it
you
was
know,
fascinating to me. It was so organized,
yeah,
and
he was organized.
it just looked so neat. And then when Daddy had his toolbox, which was like a little mini version of your father's
But very,
workbench,
yeah, a
but
little-
very organized. And I was always fascinated.
metal
What is this
box that
man
it did,
thing
yeah.
with these little hammers and these big hammers and these nails and these screwdrivers of which I couldn't understand anything. They were just so mysterious.
Yeah, well, you weren't
I
into
loved that stuff.
structuring anything, you
No.
know.
So, but I just, saw the
But
potential.
you go in there and ask
I
her
didn't
for
know
things.
for what.
What you like to do, one year when she was there, she wanted to catch birds. And she rigged up boxes and she went and, yeah, and she went and got a box from him, or, like a shoebox. And
Yes,
then
a
rigged it
shoebox.
up with a long, some type of a long chain, not a chain, but something that was like a wire thing that would be lightweight that the birds couldn't see, she thought.
Right.
Then she would sit out there.
And I had a
waiting.
stick holding open the box.
She would
And put some bait in there.
And bait, probably bread.
And then she was
that your
hoping.
mother probably gave me.
Yeah, but then she was hoping,
That I
and
could
my mother
lure
said,
them
look at
in."
her sitting out there. Couldn't have been more than 6.
For days.
Look at her for days.
Look at, well, no, she said she thinks she's going, and there were mockingbirds, because see, we
And they were
went.
mocking
And
you.
they were mocking
Yeah, they
you,
were
right?
mocking, and you liked the way they talked, but you kept thinking if they could just be lured into that box, you weren't gonna hurt them or anything.
Oh,
but-
no,
but
I
you
didn't want
could
to hurt them.
Touch them.
Yeah.
I would mock
trap
them,
a
right.
little bit. But I know
Mock
you
them
were,
back.
and I guess, and then my dad would say, oh, Lolly, she won't catch a bird, they're too quick for her, and I said, well, she thinks she will. And she was so patient.
It was kind of pathetic. No.
And then did they ever take you, crabbing when you were there that
I don't
time?
recall that, no.
Maybe, was Daddy home? Yes, he was home.
I got to go crabbing.
Oh, yeah.
I loved doing that.
Oh, that was a fun thing. You get these, I don't even know if people do that anymore, but we went to a little funny place. It was like a little old-fashioned town that used to be a spa town. And it was almost like a derelict town, one of these Florida towns that maybe now it's big
Oh, probably.
big condos, because it was right on some water, and we'd go out on this long,
That long dock.
yeah, this long dock, way up, and then my father you could buy these traps in local hardware, and they were all just for crabbing. These are the blue crabs that you can boil, and then they're not the soft shell, but these are the kind, the blue crabs you boil, and then you
With
pick
those
out the
nice
meat.
big claws.
But they're wonderful, yeah, the claws, a lot of meat in the claws, and they would use chicken necks in that.
Mm.
But you didn't mind any of that now.
No,
I think
I
you'd
loved
be more
it. I thought it was
squeamish
great.
now. But then you lower it down and wait for the crabs to come in, and
Right.
then
I was a patient child.
you were for stuff like that. You
It-
really were. Not for, no, because the minute we'd arrive, you'd say, can we
Can
go
we go
crabbing?
crabbing?
Yeah, she wasn't patient.
Well, it was
no.
exciting, but once I was doing it, I was very patient.
Oh, yeah, but it was really, and then my mother would cook them, a whole big mess of them, and then keep the meat and either freeze it or, but that was kind of a bygone day of Florida probably. It's such a fast-paced
No,
upscale. Everything is probably so upscale there now. You wouldn't even find a little town like that.
You wouldn't even recognize it probably.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe it would be off limits, especially since it was water property and it was public. Nobody, stopped people from going in there, and it was never crowded. And but you wanted to do everything the day you'd
Well,
arrive.
of course, it was so exciting. Do
had-
you remember the name of the street they lived on in Clearwater? In Dunedin.
Dunedin.
Do you remember the name of that street?
Mm. Gee,
I always
can't-
think if I ever were to go down there, I would love to look for it and see how different it looked. And I wish I
I
could.
should remember that,
Yeah,
of all the
wish I
letters I would write.
I feel like I can remember that, but I can't.
Yeah, I can't either, it's just out of my grasp. I just think,
It's like you can see the street sign, but you can't.
no, I try to do that.
Yeah.
Not the zip code. Come for the zip code.
I can't remember the zip code, I used to remember their phone number. No, I did know that street. It seemed to be, they named quite a few of the streets around there after colleges. There was a
Oh, really?
Denison and a,
Uh-huh.
something Stanford, but not their street, so
No, I don't.
I
Did they
don't know.
move right from Elyria down there?
And unfortunately, they had to save, she kept saving money from his trips and things, and she would save and put it aside so that they could make a down payment and pay the builder right away. Because they didn't own their home anymore. Having lost it in the Depression, they never built again and owned. And so many people of their generation really kind of cleaned up when they sold their houses in the 50s or 60s, when they had built them in the 20s, or the property values had appreciated, so that their houses really were their retirement. A lot of their people, they even would tell each other, we really cleaned up, what was the word, not cleaned up, they didn't use that word, it was kind of vulgar. We really, anyway, whatever they let you realize that they had really done well on their sale of their northern house, which, great, but they didn't have that, they were always on a budget then, of, saving and not spending lots and taking big vacations and things. But she really wasn't that happy in Florida. I think that it was a hard, how do you say, to leave any relatives you still had up in Ohio, and then her sister died, or no, her brother-in-law died, and they were going to build down there. And I think sometimes couples do go with another part of their family, and they start a new life when they retire. And I think that's what that fell apart when he died, and then her sister wasn't going to be down there. And it's hard to sometimes make friends if you're not a real outgoing. And then he was still traveling at one
So
point.
she was alone a lot.
Yeah, he was still traveling quite a bit, so they didn't have a big, they had a few people they had met who were Ohioans. But it does, I mean, and I think sometimes it depends on your lifestyle, if you're a golfer or, but he did go out and play shuffleboard, that was the big thing for the elderly people of that day. I don't know if they still play shuffleboard, they probably don't.
They probably do.
I don't know.
I hear of people playing shuffleboard.
You do?
In Florida, don't they? I mean,
Yeah, they make jokes
shuffleboard,
about
I don't
the
know.
oldsters.
Hi, it's Lindsay.
Oh, she can say
How
hi.
you doing? Good. I'm here with our family.
Looking to see if Shadow's still there.
Yeah, I think so.
Poor little Shadow. He needs his food.
He's so desperate.
He's so desperate.
Oh,
That's all
we
they
just
live for.
had dinner and now we're just looking at pictures.
We
and
didn't just
sitting-
have
well, we
dinner.
didn't just have dinner, but we
It
were
wasn't that
just
bad.
talking
That was at
and
9.
Looking at pictures after dinner.
Who does that dinner? Meanwhile, you have to get up in like 3 hours. No, it's 10 or 12. Or is it 10
Yeah, I
or
know.
11?
Quarter to 12, yeah.
Quarter of 12. Yeah.
Tatiana was gonna bring
So
me
we should go
to
so that you can go
the
there.
bus. She gets done with whatever around 12, and then will be like sometime after that. She'll bring me the porcelain.
I want you to say hi to
Pretty
Lindsay.
much.
Yeah.
Even though you can't really see her, you can at least talk, you can say hi to each other, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Abby,
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
her on with
Here.
Christopher for a
I'm
minute.
gonna also talk to you.
Hello, Lindsay. I'm great. How are you? It was long and white. Our drive, yeah. You're looking at me like, what was that?
Aren't you getting a little personal? No.
And yeah, we got in this afternoon around 3. We left at 3, and we've been having fun. Yeah. And you? No, it's not weird. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Well, and I understand that you almost could have been. And I look forward to meeting you sometime. It'd be great. Yes, definitely. Yeah, right. Hopefully less than that, right? Yeah. Yep, we're going to take off tomorrow morning and drive back to Albany. And then Leila will fly back to Minnesota from there, and then I'll be working in Albany for a few days, and then I'll fly back in the middle of the week. So this worked out really well. And are you in Boston right now? What's it like as far as snow and stuff? Oh, really? Oh, man. And I've heard like schools are closed for at least through Tuesday, and Logan Airport was closed as of this morning indefinitely, they said. Yeah, indefinitely. So. Oh yeah, I know. We were looking for a place just to eat or have breakfast on the way up this morning, and it's amazing. Everybody was shut down. But you know, we only got a foot or so up here. So. But yeah, it was really fun to drive through. Yes, we lucked out. I had requested a 4-wheel drive.
She's just learning.
Rent a car and just, you know, because I thought that'd be the prudent thing to do, right? We got a 2005 Mountaineer that had like 3,000 miles on it. And so it's traction galore and all-time 4-wheel drive, and it's got one of those GPS units in it with mapping and stuff.
I was gonna
It is really
make
great.
for Aaron, the youngest, he wanted me to
It really
make
was.
him a
You
Hawaiian
just
shirt.
put a destination
So
in
then we
it, and
picked
it
out
just tells you where to turn, and
material, and I went
you don't have to think about it at all. You can just follow it.
pattern for just a
And it's really
Hawaiian shirt.
amazingly accurate.
And I think that was like the only thing.
Yeah,
But
there's a
they
nice
somehow
lady in there, and
pajama
you know,
pattern,
he says, "You'll want to get in the left-hand lane up in here." You
So
know.
I
And
got all my mom's old patterns.
she doesn't talk to you all the time though, which is a good thing.
My sewing machine is on the next
Yeah,
thing,
right.
and
But every once in a while she'll pipe up, and then when you do something right, then she, you know, bangs a little couple tone thing at you to let you know that you did good. So, ding ding. Yeah.
What do you have to go
So,
on?
it's,
What for?
But it's nice to
oh yeah. Well, we've had some champagne and some wine and a little scotch and a great meal, and so I think that shouldn't be a problem at all. Yeah. So. Well, good to talk to you and hear your voice.
See what I have on that bed. I don't know
Yeah,
where my blankets
right,
are.
right. And I will put your sister back on. I'll talk to you later.
Oh, I got one
Okay, thanks.
down.
Have fun down there.
Oh,
The
good.
old down.
Okay, bye.
And I can put a quilt on.
Oh.
Well, then how about just that? One of your quilts or your mother?
One of mother's quilts. I'm trying to, I've tried to explain to Chris, but then he said, oh, we can both sleep in that bed. And I said, well, it's a twin. the mattress is a standard American new mattress, but it wasn't made with the curved bottom. These were Italian beds. They were older beds, and we had them. And then when I threw away the box spring that was made to fit the curve, I couldn't find anything that was like it. Nobody wanted to make one, and it was like, practically, I might as well have bought a whole new bed, and I didn't. I said, well, and then I found a carpenter who would make a box. Like, you know, when you see people, they like to sleep on bed boards. Well, but the mattress is a standard puffy one, but I had it made, the box, to fit on the bed. But I'm worried that would it be comfortable for two people?
No.
Chris said, oh yeah, that's
Not for very many hours,
But
probably
then it-
would be more, wouldn't you be, would you be more comfortable just being together and
Yeah. Well, that's
then
what
getting
he,
up, you know, like
and-
right away and?
that's what he was thinking, and I said, otherwise it's perfectly fine. I mean, there's a bed up here, and, or I can come out of my bed, and I can sleep up here, and you can have my room. And then he said, well, no, we can both sleep in this room, and I said, well, if you think so, I mean, I just have to warn you, I know it's, I have had a friend, a good sized, nice, healthy friend with her 3 dogs. No,
Nice,
her,
healthy friend.
no, her 3 dogs are, no, what I meant was it isn't a fragile bed. It's just that I don't know whether the fact that it's not a spongy box spring, because box springs usually have more give.
Right, it's a
whereas
box, it's
plain
not a
is
box spring.
But the mattress is a good new spongy mattress, you know. With
Well, they're probably so
Yeah, it was
tired
nice.
as it is that they're probably
could
not
probably
even gonna
just
notice, they
leave
can
them
sleep on the
by the
floor
fire.
probably.
So that if you want to do that, fine. I'm just going to go look around for some blankets because there's one down comforter on it, but I don't know
Well,
whether I have
I
others.
was gonna offer to leave,
Oh,
the pictures
would you?
of the newer, you know,
Yeah.
of us
Oh,
and
good.
the koala.
Oh,
and
would you?
Oh,
down-
great, and
down
the
there.
one in Australia.
Oh, that would be
This
great.
Because we can make more.
Yeah, and then some of the ones that you looked
Yeah.
at, said you wanted copies of,
Yeah.
copies of.
You'll make copies.
Oh, that
Yeah,
would be
that would be
wonderful.
wonderful.
Yeah,
That would
yeah.
be
Oh,
great.
that's so thoughtful.
And,
I'd love it.
And that.
and then why don't we take this one and scan it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you? Because I think that's nice.
Yeah.
We don't care so much
You could
about the
enlarge
back
it.
room, but I mean, it
Right.
still was a sweet, you know, even if it was only to
We
there.
can maybe even crop it.
Yeah,
Maybe just
crop
with
some
him.
of the.
Right, and then you could enlarge it, the
Yeah,
picture of him.
some of the crop,
That'd
that,
be cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that,
Make it-
and maybe
picture, it's
make a,
beautiful picture.
what was that one with Nicole and the dog?
Mm-hmm.
Make me
Oh,
a one
yeah, oh,
like
yeah,
that.
those
Okay.
are all just.
That would so
fabulous.
wonderful, my 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Oh, that would just be great, that'd be great.
Do you
Oh,
want
that's
the
wonderful.
koala?
Oh, I
Yes,
love
they
the
do.
koala, and
Yeah.
I love his eyes laughing and so forth. Now, I'm gonna give you
Oh, great, great.
your sketch, if you like it, that's all it is a
That's
sketch.
really nice.
It's not to be pride of ownership, it's just that I thought, well, why send it in the mail? And I think, well, what do you want to do with that, you know? What's she sending us that for? And I thought, no. And then when you said you were coming, I figured maybe you'd like it. I can't find it
Very
now.
cool, yeah.
Here.
Cool.
No, here.
Yeah, there it is.
Did you
There
have a
you
nice
are. There you
day,
are.
evening, night?
Yeah. And
Yeah, what did
kind
you
of
do?
like, oops.
Wow.
We'll just slip it out.
Yeah, great.
Maybe I have
That
a,
makes you motivated, huh? Having a
Excellent.
day off makes you
I
motivated.
might even have an envelope,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, something I put it in.
Crazy in the house.
I can send this one to
That's
Lisa
good.
someday.
So are you going to
Right.
bed?
Very cool.
But these
Yeah,
are wonderful.
We're all gonna probably do that really soon too, considering
Even if the
that
envelope's been used
Christopher
before.
and Leila have to get up at like 4:30 and take off to drive, yes. It has, we had such a great time, I think we do.
And here's the CD.
Oh, but with that, they're doing the video, we've been on video for the last 2 hours, so we'll be